All right, I think most of you are here, so welcome everyone to this TD SYNNEX Microsoft webinar, Turn Security into Sales, Drive Upgrades with Microsoft 365 Business Premium. My name is Lawrence and I'm a Business Development Manager at TD SYNNEX for Microsoft. I'm excited to be joined today by Marnix and by Saskia. Marnix is our technical pre-sales specialist and Saskia is part of our TD SYNNEX Academy. If you have any questions during this session, please drop them in the chat and we'll make time at the end for a Q&A. So without further ado, let's dive into today's agenda. All right, here's where we're going today. In part one, we'll ground ourselves in what's really happening for SMBs right now in the current security landscape. In part two, Marnix will talk about the security features built into Microsoft's Business Premium. And in part three, selling, will turn security into a sales motion using the value balance, the SPIN, and AIDA sales techniques. In part four, scaling is billing, Saskia will show you how the TD SYNNEX Academy slots into your next steps. We'll close by answering questions you left in the chat for us in the Q&A. To start off, we'll ground the conversation in what customers are experiencing day to day, so the next section has the right context. Let's paint a picture of the current security landscape. We see an increasing sophistication of cyber attacks. Adversaries have shortened the distance between initial contact and impact. Playbooks are standardized, automation is widespread, and campaigns are coordinated across multiple channels. For customers, that means less time to notice, decide, and act. We notice a rise of ransomware and phishing attacks. Ransomware and phishing persists because they're dependable for attackers. A single hurried click can cascade into business disruption and reputational questions, often before the technical root cause is clear. This risk isn't abstract. There are weaknesses in IoT devices. The attack surface now includes everything from printers and cameras to point-of-sale systems and sensors. Even my air fryer has Wi-Fi capabilities now. Many of these devices are lightly managed, rarely patched, and on the same cadence as laptops and servers, and can become quite pivot points if they're overlooked. Lastly, most incidents still involve people, oversharing, weak credentials, or shortcuts under time pressure. Now let's hold that picture into mind. As more of what we do, both at work and in our personal lives, moves online, organizations everywhere are facing a new set of cybersecurity challenges. Most businesses today are trying to strike a balance. They need strong security, but they're working with limited resources and tight budgets. The reality is, the cost of doing nothing has never been higher. Cyber attackers are getting faster, bigger, and more sophisticated. Here's how fast things can happen. When someone clicks on a phishing mail, it takes an attacker on average just 1 hour and 12 minutes to get to sensitive data. We're also seeing a tenfold increase in password attacks, jumping from 3 to 30 billion in just 1 year. The number of organized threat groups keeps growing. Today, Microsoft is tracking over 1,500 major threat actors. And if that wasn't challenging enough, we're also dealing with an unprecedented level of complexity, making cybersecurity jobs harder than ever. Today, most organizations are stuck with a patchwork of disconnected tools. They're expected to stitch these tools together, make sure data and insights flow seamlessly across them, and somehow get everything to work effectively. This complexity is made even worse by the global security talent shortage. Right now, the world needs about 4 million cybersecurity professionals, and that gap isn't closing anytime soon. On top of all of that, there's a regulatory environment. It's highly complex and constantly changing. According to IDC, there are around 250 regulatory updates every single day worldwide. Keeping up with that is a massive challenge for organizations. From what we often hear, many teams, whether in security operations, data security, identity, or network security, spend a huge amount of time just connecting the dots and filling in the gaps between all the different tools they use. And it doesn't stop there. In most organizations, these teams don't have the processes or tools they need to truly collaborate. It's not unusual for the security operations team to have little or no interaction with the data security or authentication teams. As a result, they end up defending in silos and thinking in lists. A list might work for a grocery run, but not when you're trying to stop a cyber attack. Meanwhile, attackers are thinking in graphs, moving across networks with ease, slipping through the seams of siloed tools. Let's walk through a typical ransomware attack. It can start in several ways. A user browses to a website that is infected with malware, or they click on a link in a phishing email that takes them to a malicious site. Or they open an attachment that isn't what it seems. Any of these actions can lead to malware infecting a user's device. From there, an attacker can compromise that user's account in different ways. Another common entry point, using stolen credentials or running brute force attacks to guess passwords. Once they're in, attackers move laterally, jumping to another user with more access, running reconnaissance to learn the network, and ultimately aiming to compromise the domain. This so they can stay hidden as long as they want and exfiltrate data for financial gain. Now, while these attack paths are common, they're not easy to defend against. Malicious actors are getting better at finding the gaps between security solutions. That's why, as defenders, we need to evolve to a more comprehensive approach and building integrated defenses across the entire digital estate. This brings us to the topic of today, Microsoft 365 Business Premium. Let's watch this short video. Now I hand it over to Marnix for part 2 of our webinar.
Thank you, Lawrence. Taking control and moving to the next one. So, security in Microsoft 365 Business Premium, what is it? So, having a robust multi-layered protection across identity protection, advanced cyber threat protection, defenses against phishing and ransom are critical. Microsoft 365 Business Premium includes these defenses. As you can see, Microsoft 365 Business Premium brings multi-layered protection across user identity and access with Microsoft Entra ID Plan 1, formerly known as Azure AD Premium Plan 1. So only authorized people have access to work data. With Work from Anywhere, securing devices that connect to work data, protecting against ransomware and phishing attacks across devices and apps, email and Teams, and also safeguarding confidential documents with the right access controls. So as you can see here in the screen on the slides, these are the important elements, security elements that Microsoft stuffed into Business Premium. And these, in my opinion, really set a good security baseline for small companies. With the shift to work from home, it has become cyber attacks have increased, especially phishing. So Microsoft Defender for Office 365 helps safeguard your user's identity and defend against cyber threats. With increased cyber threats like phishing attacks and ransomware, we know your customers are concerned. Business Premium protects your business from these external threats by giving you access to the same enterprise-grade services and protections used by many of the world's largest companies. Links are checked in real time to warn you if destination is a malicious site with safe links. When a user clicks on a URL in an email message or in an Office file, the link is checked by Defender SafeLink and is identified as blocked, malicious, or safe before opening the website. For example, a user will get a warning page if the link is deemed malicious. The Defender Safe Attachment feature in Business Premium scans each and every attachment coming in via email. When a safe attachments policy is in place, email attachments are opened and tested in a virtual sandbox environment. If determined to be malicious, the attachment will not open. This protection also applies to attachments shared via SharePoint Online, OneDrive, or Teams. User impersonation protection safeguards organizations from phishing attacks and other malicious activities where attackers attempt to impersonate legitimate users. This protection helps identify and block emails that appear to come from trusted contacts or internal employees, but are actually sent by cybercriminals. Security summary reports provide organizations with a comprehensive overview of their security posture, helping you to identify and address vulnerabilities, track the effectiveness of security measures, and stay informed about potential threats and incidents. This proactive approach enables better decision-making and enhances overall security. AI-enhanced threat detection allows Microsoft Defender for Office 365 to better identify sophisticated tactics by interpreting subtle human language nuances and understand the attacker's intent to proactively thwart threats. Microsoft Defender for Business protects against ransomware through a combination of advanced security features designed to prevent, detect, and respond to ransomware attacks. Real-time threat detection utilizes machine learning and behavioral analysis to identify and block ransomware threats before they can execute. Endpoint detection and response, EDR, the endpoint protection monitors and safeguards devices with robust antivirus and anti-malware capabilities, ensuring that any malicious activity is quickly detected and neutralized before they can act maliciously and spread to other devices. Advanced antivirus capabilities and comprehensive security measures provided across various operating systems ensures that all devices within an organization, regardless of operating system, are defended against cyber threats, providing a holistic security approach. Threat and vulnerability management helps you to prioritize and focus on the weaknesses that pose the most urgent and the highest risk to your business. By discovering, prioritizing, and remediating software vulnerabilities and misconfigurations, you can proactively build a secure foundation for your environment. So I'm going to let this slide build out. Voila. So here you can see that the technology, it detects the attempt by the hacker, and it stops it automatically. As my dear colleague Lawrence mentioned a few slides ago, attackers on average, it takes about 70 minutes between breach and their malicious activities. So you need automation, and this is provided by Microsoft Security Technology. In a distributed work environment, providing the right people the right access becomes critical. With Microsoft Entra ID, conditional access, you can control where, when, and who connects to Office apps. For example, you could create a policy that blocks access when someone attempts to log in from a country in which you don't do business. Or you could use conditional access to restrict access if a user is logging in from an unrecognized and potentially compromised device. Plus, you combine MFA with conditional access policies. An example is requiring an MFA answer response when someone accesses your work data from a location that is not trusted, like a country in which you don't do business in. Additionally, Microsoft recently announced that they're bringing the full capabilities of Entra ID Plan 1 to Microsoft 365 Business Premium, and with this, you get the benefit of powerful features like App Proxy that helps employees to remotely access on-premise web apps without the need of opening broad access to the company's network. Passwords are the weakest link in a security chain, and without any additional verification, a single point of failure. That's why we believe strongly that if you only do one thing to help protect yourself, it should be to turn on multi-factor authentication, which can prevent 99.9% of identity attacks. Microsoft supports a broad range of authentication options to fit the needs for your business and your users. Passwordless methods help make MFA more convenient for users. Passwordless Microsoft MFA credentials include the Microsoft Authenticator. For the greatest flexibility, convenience, and cost, Microsoft recommends using the Microsoft Authenticator mobile app. Microsoft Authenticator supports biometrics, push notifications, and one-time passcodes for any Microsoft Entra ID connected app. It's free to download from the Apple and Android app stores. Another option is Windows Hello. For a great built-in experience on the PC, Microsoft recommends using Windows Hello. It uses your face or fingerprint to sign in automatically. Another option are FIDO2 security keys. These are now available from several of major providers like Yubico, Phaeton Technologies, HID Global, in a USB, NFC-enabled batch or biometric key. Microsoft already has over 100 million users of passwordless authentication, and this number is about to get bigger. At Ignite, a while ago, they announced that they will extend passwordless authentication to include support for hybrid environments. So what I want to add to this slide is personally that, okay, for most users, MFA is somewhat cumbersome because they get a challenge when they don't expect it. Well, in most cases, this is due to the security defaults that have been activated on the tenant. In that case, when you use security default, it is Microsoft who decides which user gets an MFA challenge under which conditions. When you invest in Entra ID Plan 1 and you set up conditional access policies, it is you, the partner, in agreement with your customer, of course, you get to decide who gets an MFA challenge in what conditions. So you can make it somewhat less cumbersome, and you can also use other passwordless technologies other than the Microsoft Authenticator. There is a new capability in Microsoft Entra ID Plan 1. So in modern businesses with bring your own device environments and work from home setups, IT departments are often not aware of all the cloud applications that their employees use for work. As a result, administrators often have concerns about unauthorized access to corporate data, possible data leakage, and other security risks inherent in the applications. You can address these concerns by using Cloud App Discovery. Cloud App Discovery is a feature of Microsoft Cloud App Security that is also available within Microsoft Entra ID Plan 1. It enables you to discover cloud applications that are used by employees in your organization and view reports to analyze your environment. Cloud App Discovery analyzes your traffic logs against a catalog of over 16,000 cloud apps. These apps are ranked and scored based on more than 80 risk factors to provide you with ongoing visibility into cloud use, shadow IT, and the risk shadow IT poses to your organization. There are a couple of ways to approach device management. Mobile application management, typically for personally owned devices, so that the company only has control over only the applications used for business purposes. Users can use their personal devices to access organizational resources. For example, you can apply app protection policies to help ensure that corporate data is only saved on OneDrive for Business, versus a personal storage. Mobile device management, and this is typically used for company-owned devices. Users enroll their device and get a certificate to communicate with Intune. This offers the ability to configure mobile device policies, such as enforcing complex PINs or passwords, remote wipe or lock, device encryption, etc. Mobile application management is more common in SMB scenarios due to the bring your own device environments, and you as a partner, you can manage these policies through the simple setup wizard. Let's look at an example in depth. So with remote and hybrid work, employees are increasingly using personal mobile devices to access work data, and you may be concerned if your work data is secure. With Business Premium, Microsoft have a multi-layered protection which allows Microsoft to protect the data at the app level without the need for traditional containerization or sandboxing. And because Microsoft leveraged the user identity in their approach, they can enable multi-identity usage of apps, where app policies are intelligent enough to only apply to data applicable to corporate accounts on employee-owned devices. The capabilities include app encryption at rest, app access control through PIN or credentials, save as, copy as, paste restrictions, so you prevent that the user copies some data from a work app and stores it in a personal cloud storage or a document on the personal part of their storage on their device. App level selective wipe is also a capability. Managed web browsing and secure viewing of PDFs, images, and videos. Intune is the only mobility management solution that can control Office with this much granular control without compromising on the end-user experience. With mobile application management, Microsoft has built an invisible wall between the personal data and the corporate data while not impacting the user experience. Employees are able to use the apps like Word and Outlook that they know and love, while at the same time IT is able to protect the data contained within the apps and devices. So most businesses deal with a variety of sensitive information, like customer credit card numbers, or national register numbers, or even intellectual property that is core to the running of their business. Keeping this information safe can be a daunting task for any business, but especially for SMBs. Business Premium helps you protect your business data or sensitive customer or employee information from accidental leaks by utilizing data loss prevention capabilities. These DLP policies can help to identify, monitor, and protect sensitive information through deep content analysis, even if your staff forget to apply these controls. It includes pre-configured templates that can help detect specific types of sensitive information being communicated, such as, for example, credit card numbers or the national registry numbers, or even local specific personally identifying information. It also provides policy tips which can help educate and prevent end users from accidental sharing of sensitive info by displaying a policy tip in Outlook. With Microsoft 365 Business Premium, your employees can easily encrypt email and documents or impose controls such as do not print or do not forward. This helps you to communicate securely with customers or other people outside your company, ensuring that only the intended recipient can read the message. Let's talk about Microsoft Purview Information Protection, which gives options to classify and protect important information and apply appropriate controls. You can control whether a document can be edited, printed, or viewed by non-employees. It applies to documents sitting on FileShare, SharePoint, or any other place. You can also revoke access to an employee when he has left the company. So I have an example here. Megan is the sales manager for the Contoso company, a well-known example used by Microsoft. She creates the company's annual sales forecasts and classifies it as highly confidential. This essentially locks the document because at her company, highly confidential files are automatically encrypted and only accessible to company employees. After Megan shares the files with her team, Carlos, a Contoso salesperson, attempts to open the file. When he opens the file, Microsoft 365 Business Premium verifies that he's a Contoso employee and decrypts the file for him. This verification occurs each time that the file is accessed. This protection stays with the document even if it is saved outside of the company. So let's say that Carlos saves the document to a USB drive and then he gets a job at another company. Even though Carlos still has Contoso sales forecast, it is useless to him because when he tries to open the file, he's unable to decrypt it since he is no longer a Contoso employee. Important thing to keep in mind here is that the restrictions and protections stay with the files and emails regardless of the location. So even if they are outside of your domain, the restrictions and protections stay applied to the information, to the files. So what is the security value of Microsoft 365 Business Premium? I have here a price comparison. So Business Standard without Teams versus Business Premium without Teams. So top line, here you have the monthly public price of the bundle, $970 for Business Standard, $1860 per month per user for Business Premium. If you add the security components that are included in Business Premium to Business Standard, you come out at almost €10 per month per user, more expensive. So this is a really important thing to communicate to the customers. The basic security features that are included on Business Premium really offer the best security baseline for SMB, and it is cheaper to invest in Business Premium, not only for the security, but also for the other benefits outside of the security that you receive thanks to Business Premium. Very recently, I think 1 week or 2 weeks ago, Microsoft also announced the availability of a few add-ons to Business Premium. So while Business Premium provides security and data security controls suitable for most SMBs, Microsoft understands that some SMBs may require additional security. So what does this add? The Defender Suite for Business Premium. It adds on top of Entra ID Plan 1, which is part of Business Premium, it adds the Plan 2. What does this contain? It contains risk-based conditional access. What is it? For instance, a user logs in, his account is hacked, and one moment he logs in from Brussels, and 5 minutes later he tries to log in from St. Petersburg or from Bangladesh. That's not logical, that's not physically possible, so the technology determines that this is a risk and blocks access to that user. Entra ID Plan 2 also adds detection and blocking of identity threats in real time using behavioral analytics. It also includes ID governance to automate user access workflows, reducing manual onboarding and improving efficiency. It also adds Defender for Identity, especially important when you have a hybrid environment with some on-premise, because It is well known that lateral movements are mainly done on on-premise environments. So Defender for Identity provides deep visibility into identity infrastructure with advanced detections and posture recommendations. And of course, it integrates with Defender XDR for incident-level insights. You also get endpoint protection for endpoint plan 2. This, on top of Plan 1, delivers top-tier anti-malware, attack surface reduction, advanced hunting capabilities. It also adds some automation. It supports device-based conditional access and secure score-driven hardening. You also get Defender for Office 365 Plan 2, which offers phishing simulation training, automated incident response, and post-breach investigation tools. It also includes detailed reporting on user interactions with emails and links. The add-on also offers you Defender for Cloud Apps, which helps you discover and manage shadow IT. It can secure SaaS apps and monitor risky AI interactions. It features posture management, up-to-up protection, and integrated threat detection. So I've added here the pricing in euros, of course. Moving on to the next slide. Pricing in euros. So the Purview add-on brings E5 level compliance and security to SMBs using Business Premium. So in the past, you had to buy these separately or invest in E5, which is almost impossible for an SMB. So this add-on, on top of what Business Premium already offers, like basic data protection features, this add-on elevates these to the premium feature set. It's ideal for customers in regulated industries, so think finance, healthcare, or legal, or those customers handling sensitive data. It enables advanced investigations, data governance, and insider threat protection without needing to upgrade to Microsoft 365 E5. The insider risk management detects risky user behavior. An example is mass downloads before you leave the company using behavioral analytics with privacy built in. Information protection classifies and labels sensitive data automatically, so protections follow the data across platforms such as OneDrive, Teams, or email. Data loss prevention prevents accidental sharing of sensitive info. Message encryption ensures email privacy. Customer key allows control over encryption keys for compliance. Communication compliance flags inappropriate or risky communications to prevent policy violations. It also offers some features for AI data security. So data security posture management for AI monitors Copilot and third-party AI use, detecting oversharing and enforcing policies in real time. Records and lifecycle management automates retention and deletion policies to meet compliance requirements. eDiscovery Premium centralizes legal hold and investigation workflows. Audit Premium provides detailed logs for forensic analysis and regulatory readiness. And last but not least, Compliance Manager tracks regulations, assesses risk, and manages improvement actions in a unified dashboard tailored for SMBs. You can buy both add-ons separately, or you can buy the bundle, where you get both add-ons for 14 euros per user per month. So the new Microsoft Defender and Purview suites unite the full capabilities of Microsoft Defender and Purview into a single cost-effective package. This all-in-one solution delivers comprehensive security, compliance, and data protection, while helping SMB customers unlock up to 68% savings compared to buying the products separately, making it easier than ever to safeguard your organization without compromising on features or budget. Be careful when mixing different subscription types on a single tenant. Our advice is to license all your business premium users and not a subset of users to prevent the technology to be used by unlicensed users. All the 3 bundles are available now for purchase on StreamOne Isle. So you've been successful in convincing your customers into investing in business premium. You've done the setup, but how do you manage this? If you manage 5 customers, you can switch between the different management portals for each tenant. But how do you manage 20 or 50 customers at scale? There are different options available in the market, both paid and free. One of the options you could evaluate is Microsoft 365 Lighthouse. So once you've onboarded your customer to Microsoft 365 Lighthouse, you can define and apply a default baseline to your customer tenants. You can manage the tenants individually. You can manage the users within each tenant. You can check device compliance through Intune. Device compliance, that is, sorry. You can have an overview, centralized view of the threat management of your customers. And you even get some sales opportunities for, amongst other things, Copilot. So Microsoft 365 Lighthouse is a free MSP tool. You get Copilot's insights with regards to, is the customer ready? Does he already have the correct base licenses? Once he has invested in Copilot, how is the usage of the licenses, etc. There is a maximum of 2,500 users per customer tenant, but in the SMB space, this is not an issue. And if you would like to see a very nice and comprehensive demo, there is one available on Cloud Champion where Microsoft gives you a profound deep dive and demo of the solution. That's my last slide. So giving
Thank you, Marnix.
Control back to my colleague Lawrence. Go ahead.
Thank you, Marnix, for this clear deep dive into the security capabilities of Business Premium. I feel safer already. Now let's turn that into the sales conversation. For me, selling is all about creating contrasts, what is and what could be. And one of the simplest ways to create contrast is by building a value balance for your customers. On one side, you have the risks and costs of doing nothing, so the growing cybersecurity threats, operational downtime, compliance penalties, and the stress on their IT teams. On the other side of the value balance, you have the benefits of acting now and investing in business premium, stronger protection, simplified management, the predictable costs we just seen, and peace of mind. When you make this balance visible, the decision becomes clearer. It's not about pushing a product, it's about helping the customer to see that the cost of inaction is far greater than the investment in a secure, modern solution. This is the mindset we'll use as we move into 2 practical techniques, SPIN and AIDA. Let me show you how you can use SPIN and apply this to a case. Imagine we're talking to the IT manager of a medium-sized accounting firm. The S in SPIN stands for situation. You can start by asking questions like, roughly how many people are working remote? Which devices are in play? Company-owned? Bring your own device? And today, which tools are you using to protect email, identities, and endpoints? Moving to the P, problem. You can ask more questions like, where do things slow you down most right now? Is it cleaning up phishing, dealing with lost or unmanaged devices, or the constant stream of password resets and account lockouts? Do you ever notice gaps between email security, device management, and identity? where alerts don't connect and you end up stitching things together manually. And we talk about implication. You can explain to the IT manager when those tools don't talk to each other, two things usually happen. Incidents take longer to understand, and a risky activity can slip through the seams. That tends to show up as overtime for your team, frustrated end users, especially around quarter close, and audit findings nobody wants to explain. Lastly, the end need payoff. Here you bring everything together and bring it home. Say, if we put the essentials under one roof, strong sign-in protection, safer emails and links, and basic device controls, your team gets fewer tickets, faster signal when something's off, and far less tool juggling day to day. That's exactly the step Microsoft 365 Business Premium enables for firms your size, one motion that reduces risk and complexity without adding headcount. Another sales technique you can use is AIDA. In this case, we're talking to a CEO of an e-commerce brand. Here we're talking to a non-technical person who cares about growth, customers, and brands. Start by grabbing their attention by saying, picture this. It's 8:42 on a Monday, your marketing lead opens a file from a supplier. By 9:10, your customer service team can't log in. A few minutes later, a partner asks why their shared folder shows strange changes. Nothing public yet, but the brand risk is already real. After you grab their attention, it's time to spark interest. Say, this is exactly how modern attacks spread, quietly, sideways, through the seams between tools and teams. And because your people are moving fast, the first symptoms look like IT being slow, not like an attack. That gap is where revenue and reputation take a hit. While you have their attention and interest, now it's time for desire. Imagine a different Monday. Suspicious links get stripped or flagged, sign-in prompts for the right check when something looks off, and if a laptop goes missing, your data doesn't go with it. Your team keeps selling, your brand stays intact, and you sleep better. That's the day-to-day outcome we aim for when we standardize the essentials with Microsoft Business Premium. And now it's time for action. Here's the next step. Start with Business Premium for your revenue critical teams. It brings email protection, safer sign-in, and device control together without slowing the business. We'll review the impact and scale if it delivers. So to recap this section, turning security into sales is about framing risk versus value, asking the right questions and making the next step easy for the customer. When we do that, Business Premium becomes the obvious choice for SMBs that want protection without complexity. And here's the truth. Even the best offer only works if you know how to position and deliver it. That's where enablement drives revenue. To show you exactly why skilling is billing, I'm handing over to Saskia from our TD Synnex Academy. Saskia, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Lawrence, for this introduction. And yeah, I'm part of our TD Synnex own academy. We work globally, and we are an authorized training center for Microsoft. We are called a training services partner. So what's basically what we do is we provide authorized training. We provide it in public schedules, so you can join all of the courses that Microsoft has in its curriculum in a public learning schedule for your convenience to save travel and time. Many of them are available as live online trainings, and they are delivered by our own technical experts with real world practice, because you don't want to learn your Microsoft solutions from like an instructor who only knows the stuff by the book, but you want to be sure that you get the best practices and tips and tricks from someone who really has hands-on practice. And you also want to have this hands-on practice yourselves in your class. So besides registering in a public training, we can also provide you with tailor-made training, and then we can scope your needs and deliver a training that exactly meets your needs. So maybe it's a training squeezed in a shorter time frame to meet specific needs of your company. and we can teach your end customer on your behalf if there's a need for them to be trained. So yes, next slide then. Our academy is part of our technical services offerings. So education and training sits besides our managed services, support services, and professional services. And with our academy, we want to enable you to provide these Microsoft services, build and implement them and manage them yourselves. And now we get to the third slide that I have prepared for you, because I think all of you know that Microsoft will discontinue the silver and gold partner statuses at the end of this month, and that they introduced a new solutions partner program, which has designations. So there are designations for Azure Business, for modern work, and for security. And we all know that it was quite difficult for SMB to obtain the threshold to enroll in these designations. And since July, Microsoft has brought some changes to the program. And I think this will be very good news for you. So in the previous version of the program, you needed to have 70 points to obtain a designation, and you needed to have points for performance, for customer success, and for skilling. And since July, you only need to have 25 points to earn your incentives. So you don't get the full benefits and all of the fundings that are available if you have the full designation. But achieving your incentives is, of course, very much interesting for you. And on the other hand, skilling is really a good value, because we've experienced that partners who invest time and energy in their skills, they grow much quicker compared to partners who don't invest in skills. It's just because you stay on top of the technology, you can apply the best practices and the solution the way it's designed, and it's more easy to scope opportunities to deliver and manage these services. And how does it now look like? As I told, like with 25 skilling points, you already get your incentives for security. And you can get 25 skilling points with skilling only. The disadvantage of earning points with performance and customer success is that there's a monthly measure to see whether you've grown your business, and you have to continuously grow your business compared to the same time last year. With skilling, you take a class, get your exam preparation, take your exam, and you've earned your certification. And by simply renewing it online with a fairly simple test, you can continue it year over year. So you are safe having these points if you earn those points with skilling. Then we deep dive into this table that I've drawn for you. There are two certifications that are mandatory. One of them is the Azure Security Certification, which will earn you 4 points. And the other one is the SOC Operations Certification. It will also earn you 4 points. These are very important certifications to design your security and to support your security. And then there's a third one, and that's an optional one, and it will give you 8 points, and that's all about managing identity and access. So our recommendation is that if you would go for the required certifications, AZ500 for Azure and SC200 for SOC, you get in total 8 points. And if you then train 2 of your staff on identity and access, you get 16 points. And then the total amount will be 24 points. So you're close to the 25 that you need to have to get your skilling points. Having 1 point in the other areas will be really easy. But you could also choose to go for 3 persons with an identity and access certification and add 8 more points. And of course, if your business is growing and you see a chance to go for the full designation and obtain 70 points, we always support that, because then you can really benefit the fullest from this designation. I know that we've got only 4 minutes left in the meeting, so I will close my section. We've got training specially discounted for US TD SYNNEX partners. So the official training normally is about 2K. Now you can purchase it for 1,592 euros, and you get like free exam practice and an exam voucher with it. If you have any questions, the partner program is quite complex. Please let me know. The details are in this slideshow that you get from Laurens.
Thank you, Saskia. Then, as Saskia said, we're coming to the final part of this webinar. I want to invite you quickly to the upcoming event. So next Monday, Eric is giving you the latest news about our platform in his platform update call. On the 2nd of October, we invite you to our offices for a full day of AI and Copilot. And on the 9th of October, we're all gathering for the Cloud Inclusion Summit, our must-attend event of the year. I hope to see you on one of these events. Here we conveniently got you all the resources you can leverage as a Microsoft partner to drive upgrades with Business Premium. As Saskia said, you'll get the slides, so it's easy to click on all these resources. Before we say goodbye, let's see if there are any questions and open up for the Q&A. Let me open it up. So the first question I see is, what are the most underestimated security risks for SMBs today? For me personally, but I'll let Marnix chip in as well. For me, it's the insider threat and the human error that are often overlooked. SMBs do not have the same layered defenses as enterprises, and that makes them vulnerable to phishing, ransomware, and also the misconfigured devices. So insider threats and human error are, for me, the most underestimated security risks. Then I see another question that's an interesting one. What makes Business Premium different from business standards in terms of security? I'm gonna let Marnix answer that one.
Yeah, no problem. So business standard does contain really basic security. I'm, for instance, thinking about Exchange Online protection, or even Compliance Manager basic in Purview. So you get really the very limited security features if you compare business standard to Business Premium.
Thank you.
So the prior question, most underestimated security risk for SMBs. Yes, I agree with the employees oversharing or sharing stuff they shouldn't be sharing, but also customer companies who are looking to roll out Copilot. It's again Purview. Maybe they get access to stuff they should not have access to. And another one, and I repeat this ad nauseam: MFA. I know it's cumbersome, but keep in mind what I said earlier. If you invest in Entra ID Plan 1 directly as a standalone or through Business Premium, you decide who gets an MFA challenge under which conditions. And this removes a big part of the cumbersomeness of that the users experience when using Microsoft technology in a secure way.
Thank you. I see one last question. How can partners position Business Premium to customers who already use other tools? for me, Business Premium, to sell Business Premium, you can highlight the cost advantage and the simplicity of an all-in-one solution. It reduces mostly the multiple tools you use, as we've seen in these slides. And Marnix showed already that it lowers total costs of ownership. And as Marnix just said, it also prepares customers for AI and Copilot adoption, which is important as well. Marnix, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Well, just underlining the fact that Microsoft's security tools are all integrated. So it feeds into Defender XDR. And in one of your slides, you showed, Lawrence, the graph, hackers thinking graphs, using and applying and correctly deploying the Microsoft technology follows a bit the same way of working. You remove the silos, and through the Defender portal, the XDR Defender portal, you get a clear overview of the entire attack chain. You don't just see, okay, the mailbox, the user was compromised, but you don't see what the hacker is doing after that. So many point solutions are as good as Microsoft, but they are not integrated. So you need to keep them up to date. You need to keep your people certified on the different point solutions, and they update on a different cadence. Does the integration stay in place, etc., etc.
All right, that was it for the Q&A. Then thank you for the questions you asked, and we hope you found everything we presented today interesting. If you have any more questions that come to mind later, or if you would like to discuss opportunities, feel free to contact us. You'll get the slides from our marketing team. I want to thank Marnix and Saskia for their input, and I want to thank you for joining us today. Have a great day and see you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.